Okay. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. We're here on Zoom for Sunday evening service each third Sunday of the month. The Church of the Angels is an independent, non-denominational, interfaith spiritualist assembly. My name is Reverend Jenni Vinecourt, and I am your facilitator. We'll spend about an hour together with prayer and sharing and some song. A few logistics as we get started. You may join us today with just your audio if you choose. You don't have to use your video option. Service is being recorded so that we can help more folks connect with us. The recording only shows who is speaking or singing at that time. So the recording will be also stopped before the messages are given today to respect the sacredness of working with spirit. I also ask that the participants keep themselves muted for the majority of the service, as we found that any background noise interferes with everyone's enjoyment. During the sharing portion of the service today, if you want to be called on to comment, please raise your hand or use the chat function to send me a quick hey so that I know to call on you, and be sure that you're unmuted for your question or your comment. The Church of the Angel tries to be as inclusive as possible and invite those of all different opinions and backgrounds to join us for our services. All speakers are prompted to leave politics and any politically charged topics outside our gatherings, and this is to promote spiritual unity. We know that our true selves are always united in love. And I want to mention that if you wish to make a donation, you can do so through the Church of the Angels website. You'll have the opportunity at that time to make it make your donation a recurring one if you choose. There's a separate donation page on the website, and on that page you'll be able to choose where and or what your donation is for. So thank you to all those who have donated and helped keep the church stay strong throughout this past year. Bobby, if you would have an opening song, please, and then I'll have an opening prayer.
Yeah, I got something for you. Haven't played this in a while. Hi, everybody. I come to the garden alone while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, Spirit divine discloses, and he walks with me and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. She speaks, and the sound of her voice is so sweet. The birds hush their singing, and the melody that she gave to me within my heart is ringing, ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. And she walks with me and she talks with me, and she tells me I am her own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. Whoa. I'd stay in the garden with them, though the night around me be falling, but it chills me go through the voice of woe, their voice to me is calling. Hey, Bobby! Then they walk with me and they talk with me, they tell me I am their own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known, and the joy we has ever known. Oh yeah.
Thank you, Bobby. Mother, Father, Infinite Spirit, thank you for your blessings on all those joining us today to honor your work and experience your grace and wisdom. Thank you for providing all we need for us to gain a better and truer understanding of your love by the word spoken and the healing brought forth here today, so that we might lead healthy, happy, and prosperous lives. Thank you for showing us the way to accept responsibility for our lives. We are grateful to know that you are with us always. So be it. And if you would, please join me in the Lord's Prayer if you're comfortable. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, for thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. Okay, and now, since I have not asked anybody to read the statement of principles, I will read them for us. Okay. There is one creative force of which all life is a part. This one creative force is known by many names and manifestations. We recognize and honor the many names and manifestations of the one creative force, the source of all creation, one in God. The energy of life everywhere is continuous. All consciousness is continuous. Communication is continuous. The energy of life, consciousness, and communication never cease, even after the event that is perceived as death. One creates one's own reality. One creates in harmony with the one creative force, the great power of God, of which all life is a part. Reality is as one chooses to perceive, and will change as one grows in knowledge of the inner self and one's relationship with the God of his understanding. All things are possible with faith, insight, knowledge, understanding, acceptance, and love. Love is the unifying energy of the universe. Love is the energy of the one creative force, the wisdom of God. All life and all mankind are one in the creatorship and healing force of love and with each other. Love is within us and of us. Love is never apart from us. It is we who separate ourselves from the power of love. The force of God works through love and love alone. And now we'll have a few moments of quiet meditation so that we can concentrate on going within to find peace and calm and healing for ourselves and the world. So Bobby, what do you have for us to put us into that space?
Something slow, mellow.
Take your time and come back to the present. Please remember that we are always connected to each other and to the divine. Use this peace and calm to take care of yourselves and all those around you in your communities and throughout the world in whatever way that you can. And now, if you would please add silently or aloud the names of those you wish to include in this healing energy. Okay, thank you. All right, it's now time for inspiration and thought exchange brought to us by today's speaker. We do invite everyone to address this assembly with words of inspiration, lessons learned, or passionate ideas, and any opinions expressed here are strictly those of the person who gives them. Let us consciously and lovingly agree to disagree if it does not resonate with us. So let's raise our vibration with another song, Bobby, and then we'll get on.
Slow down, you move too fast. You got to make the morning last. Just kicking down the cobblestones, looking for fun and feeling groovy. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, feeling groovy. Hello lamppost, what you knowin'? I got to watch your flowers growing. Ain't you got no rhymes for me? Do-do-do-do, I'm feeling groovy, groovy. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, feeling groovy. I got deeds to do and promises to keep. I'm dappled and drowsy and ready to sleep. Let the morning try and drop all its to-do on me. Life, I love you, it can be groovy. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, feeling groovy.
Thank you, Bobby.
You're welcome.
Our speaker today is me. You have me today. And I was speaking with actually Bobby yesterday about what I was going to talk about today. And I was explaining to him I was busy all weekend. Whether you know it, I don't know how many people know, but I do live on a small homestead, and we processed 50 chickens yesterday, which is, sometimes gross and sometimes really cool for the freezer. But anyway, and so when I asked Bobby, I said, I don't know what I'm talking about tomorrow. I have no idea. And he goes, well, what about running around with your chicken running around like a chicken with your head cut off? Which I thought was pretty apropos, but I didn't really get it at first. And then it kind of sunk in, and I thought, yeah, okay, we need to talk about slowing down and not running around like a chicken with our heads cut off all the time, which is why I asked him to play that song. Slow down, you're moving too fast. So today I have some prayers about that. I have some thoughts about that. And I'd like to have a discussion with you guys. So I'd like y'all to go ahead and unmute yourselves, because I'd like to have a bit of a discussion. This is almost like a fishbowl discussion that we have in church sometimes when we do that. So I'd like to start with a prayer. And it goes, Dear God, we confess our need for you again to help us get out of this cycle of busy. Give us the strength we need to say no to the temptation of trying to do it all. Help us to use your wisdom in every decision, allowing you to work out the details instead of trying to do things all on our own. Forgive us, Lord, for not trusting you enough, for truly that's the root of our constant striving. Help us to remember that all things are possible with you, and you are able to do in just a moment what would take us years to work out on our own. Thank you that You are powerful in our weakness, and you are faithful even when we struggle. We love you, and we ask for your spirit to refresh us today. In Jesus' name, amen. Now, with that start, I want to say that I am more or as guilty as anyone in rushing around. For years, I prided myself on, and I still catch myself doing it. For years, I prided myself on being able to multitask, and getting a whole bunch of crap done. And I still struggle with, being busy. And I know there are things that need, like the chickens needed to be done. That's just a thing. But did we have to do all 50 in one day? No, it's easier if you do it, just because you got equipment to go in and out. However, it's not necessary to do it. And I find myself often reminding myself to back it up, just back it down, because there are so many things that will still be there tomorrow. And it's not necessary for us to get it all done or strive to be, we strive to be, the best at something, or which is not a bad thing, but you can drive yourself crazy with it, Now I want you to go ahead and nobody's unmuted yourselves, so, which means tells me y'all don't want to talk, but I'm going to force you to anyway. So let's see what y'all have to say. Bobby, what do you got to say? Come on, you're going to be ornery and not unmute yourself, aren't you? Stop it. Okay, go ahead, Bobby.
Well, let's see. Gosh, it's interesting when Spirit throws so many things in front of you now, isn't it? When
Yes, it is.
all of a sudden life is like, well, can I really take time with all these things happening, with all these other loving spirits needing attention, while one is even under their own physical or emotional distress? How?
Okay. And that brings up,
How?
that brings up a wonderful subject. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
How can you make time sometimes? And yeah, slow down. No, I can't. Right?
I get it. Yeah.
So,
but that brings up a wonderful point though, that, and I don't know how it works, but if you take time to slow down and either meditate, or just do nothing, there is more time in the day. I don't know how the hell it works. Excuse my French. I don't know how it works. However, there's always more time when you stop. Time doesn't exist. So there's always, like when I used to, and I hear it a lot in classes, I don't have time to meditate, or I don't have time to slow down, or like you said, there's too much going on. However, there's another talk in here. I don't know if you guys can see this. Can you see that? Heavily meditated. Yeah. Anyway, there's a whole nother talk in there. But anyway, but if we stop to meditate every day, even just 15 to 20 minutes, there's more time. I don't know how it works. I just promise you it does. But anyway, Anne Marie, what do you think?
Your comments made me think of something I heard on NPR the other day. I was listening, and it was someone who worked in NASA's control center, and they're working on the Mars project, and Mars day is different than Earth days. So they were talking about how when you're working with the Mars rover and you have so much, I had to look it up. So it's 1 day and 37 minutes longer than Earth days.
Oh my.
So if you're working on a project, you have to keep coming into work later each day. And they said they had to train themselves to get away from the cues of having the blinds open, things that you do in the mornings, things like that. And they said it just wasn't working, that they were getting all mixed up. And I found over the last month, I found myself saying over and over, there's just not enough hours in the day to get everything done. And as I'm listening to this thing, I'm thinking, well, that would be okay. You just go to Mars, you get 37 more minutes in the day, but it doesn't make it any better. And I've learned that I have to prioritize and find what's important to me and what gives me peace. And even in the midst of all my chaos, I would still try and get myself to exercise and do something that I enjoy, whether it's being on my boating team or going for a walk or something, just to clear your head and get away from everything else that bothers you.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, that's like meditate, although exercise does not sound like fun to me, but that's okay.
I don't like it, but I know I have to.
But it's something you enjoy because you know it's good for you. But yeah,
Right.
it's like the meditation. If you make time for it, there's still time for all that other stuff, even though we don't think there is, but there is. There really, really is. Barbara, do you have anything to add?
Well, there are a few things. There is a mantra which is not coming to mind right now, which means or translates as consciousness rises, you could say the longer, the more you meditate, obstacles disappear. And that's part of what you're saying, Jenny, when you're saying, Reverend Jenny, when you're saying it seems as if there's more time. And I do find that, I arrive at the exact right time instead of fighting to get there or something. But I'm finding as we're coming out of lockdown, whatever you want to call it, now that I have to drive places that I'm used to doing on Zoom, there's a stress level that's ramping up a bit, because everything was very nice when I only had to come down to my computer to connect with people.
Right.
And now that I have to actually get dressed, get in a car and drive, it is physically taking more time. And I have to kind of be aware of that. You don't have to be stressed about it. You could just not go. And so, yeah, being aware of it is important.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to share another thing here. This is a quote from Jay Woodman. And he says, mindfulness and meditation help focus on the moment, while at the same time knowing we cannot capture that moment. We are in a flow of moments we let flow. We can watch moments in detail without being attached to them. Non-attachment to past and future stems from this practice. Worry about past or future is wasted energy. However, we can observe the past and learn from it without agonizing over it, and trust ourselves to handle the future better. We can celebrate the opportunity to grow as we gain understanding from observation and experience. We can watch ourselves and avoid being caught up in overreactions. Quote, I am loved right now in this moment. I love and I am part of love itself. I am aware of myself at every level. The mental slowing gracefully to sense the spiritual within and all around, and the physical being still or moving. I tune into the flow of life in my body and the flow of life everywhere. I circulate love with each breath, from without to within and from within to all the world. And that speaks to, for me, that speaks to a couple of different things. The non-attachment to the past is a huge thing, okay? Because I've struggled with that in my life as well. But that, knowing that, working on, and I don't think any of us are there yet, certainly not me, but working on the meditating more and working on the mindfulness, the non-attachment to the past gets less. And that's, again, a whole nother talk, but that's kind of what that says to me. But I know that especially with, I've been going through a lot of medical stuff, and that's part of my healing, and we're good with that. But I have had to remind myself to meditate. I noticed I wasn't meditating. I was just going through my days, getting all my stuff done and all my prep done and all my tests done, but I wasn't stopping to meditate. And I know that that is an integral part of what I need to be doing for my healing and for just the energy. We have a big responsibility, I believe, as spiritualists. We have a big responsibility for sending out good mojo. And we don't have to consciously do that, but we have to take care of ourselves. And when we do that, that mojo goes. So that's what I feel is a responsibility as well. Reverend Carol, do you have any comments? There you are.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. Sometimes I struggle with expectations, though, for my meditation.
Oh, okay.
Meaning expecting something to come out of my meditation, if that makes sense. There's many different types of meditation and many different types I may practice, but I have to watch that sometimes I'm looking for an answer from spirit or reaction from my subconscious or my conscious in doing my meditation. So the intention behind it plays a big part for me as well, if that makes sense to anyone.
Yeah, that does make sense, because what you're describing to me sounds like more work.
Right, exactly.
Sounds like more work. Like I want an answer. I want to know this. I want to know this. When I'm talking about meditation, or the type of meditation I'm talking about, is just like nothingness. Just
even when I do nothingness, I'm still listening.
Okay. All right. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, my ear is still on, and which I can't totally shut down ever. So my ear is still always listening. So I have to watch that. I just have to watch it, is what I'm saying.
So sometimes God isn't following your agenda, huh?
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Awesome.
We think we're in charge, don't we?
Like, I want to answer now, God.
Yes.
I'm meditating. I want to feel, So yeah, I have to watch that. I've had times where spirit pulled me down and just said, look, nothing's going on. You're just boom, plain, let it go. And yeah. But remembering and stopping the chatter that goes on in your mind during the meditation can sometimes lead me to expectations during it.
Okay. All right. Lee or Joe, do you have anything to add? I'm going to take that as a no. Okay. That's okay.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Joe. Yeah.
I was trying to unmic block myself. No, and I agree with everything that Reverend Carol just said as well. And what I found too is that, perhaps as, it might be getting older, it might be becoming more aware or ascending, hopefully, is that in terms of rushing around, I'm at the point where, I look back and you think about how much you rushed around and panicked in your youth and so on and so forth. And it's like, it's not that important. I know what needs to get done. It's going to get done. All right. So, and that to me, I guess kind of is also for me being very present in the moment. I'm not going to panic about it. I know what needs to get done. It will get done. It always does get done. And if it doesn't, it wasn't meant done. I mean, there's only so much we can do. We can't imagine fantasies in the future and constantly regret things from the past. We just have to stay right here.
And that's wonderful. And I am still working on that.
Yeah, so am I.
Definitely still working on that. Oh my goodness. Okay. Are there any other final comments? I'm gonna close with another another prayer to slow down. Are there any other comments anybody wants to mention before I do that?
Just that I agree definitely with what Reverend Barbara was saying about coming out of COVID now. It is hard to consider how much time it takes to get somewhere, to consider how much time it takes to change your appearance and that, so that I'm relaxed right now at home, but to go out is a whole different thing again. So yeah, I will have to get used to that.
Yes, we have to redo peopling.
Yes.
Have to figure out how to people.
People,
And-
yes.
Yeah, I find breathing is very important, especially when I'm in a drugstore or whatever with other people, because their levels are pretty darn high, depending. But it seems to me that I'm really picking up a lot more nervous energy from people than, well, I don't know, it's been so long, but generally speaking, people that I'm connecting with somehow seem to be a lot more stressed, which of course can, as Carol was saying, make me more stressed. But so breathing, being constantly aware of my breath is helping me anyway. So
Awesome. And that also brings back to the forefront of our responsibility for taking care of ourselves and doing the things that take care of ourselves, so that that mojo does go out there, because it's definitely needed. We need to those positive vibes, whether they know we're doing it or not, doesn't matter, but it is our responsibility. And it doesn't take a whole lot of time. So, and remember that time is not, time is a human construct. So remember that when we're rushing around or trying to not rush around. All right, I'm gonna read this prayer. It's by Cardinal Richard Cushing, and it's called A Prayer to Slow Down. And I'll end with that. Slow me down, Lord. Ease, and that could be enough of a prayer right there. Slow me down, Lord, but I'm gonna go on. All right, slow me down, Lord. Ease the pounding of my heart by the quieting of my mind. Steady my hurried pace with the vision of eternal reach of time. Give me, amidst the confusion of my day, the calmness of everlasting hills. Break the tension of my nerves and muscles with the soothing music of the singing streams. Help me to know the magical restoring power of sleep. Teach me the art of taking 1-minute vacations. Slowing down to look at a flower, to chat with a friend, to pat a dog, to read a few lines from a good book. Remind me each day of the fable of the hare and the tortoise, that I may know that the race is not always to the swift, that there is more to life than increasing its speed. Let me look up into the branches of the towering oak and know that it grew great and strong because it grew slowly and well. Slow me down, Lord, and inspire me to send my roots into the soil for life's enduring values, that I may grow toward the stars of my greater destiny. Slow me down, Lord. Slow me down. Amen. And with that, I thank you for listening. Thank you so much. And now it's time for a few announcements. And let me pull those up real quick so I can give them to you quickly. Where did I put them? Up there. All right. Next Sunday, the 22nd, is our outdoor service at Orchard Hills Park on Caves Road, and that's our 11 o'clock service. The next development circle is tomorrow night, Monday the 16th at 7 on Zoom. And please note that the September 6th development circle is canceled for Labor Day. Reverend Barbara Douglas is holding another spiritual abundance class beginning in September. I believe the first day is the 13th. I don't have that written down, but I've taken this course and I highly recommend it. It's a 4-session class on Zoom on Monday evenings. It alternates with the development circle, so it does not interfere with that. And payment and registration can be made on the church's donation page, and more information on the class. It is September 13th. I did write it down. More information on the classes on Facebook. Mel Ayani is also holding an in-person sound healing event here on, at the church on Tuesday, September 28th. And so watch for more information online about that. And also she's planning a day retreat dealing with the ego on Saturday, October 9th. We are looking for someone in the congregation with some technical savvy that could help the church with Yelp and a few other online situations. So please email us if you can help out. Okay, please check the website, newsletter, or Facebook for the newest information on our live services plans. With things changing almost daily, just keep watching for our latest recommendations. You can connect with us through Facebook, and please help promote our site and the church by reposting any events that you might see or anything like that. Is there any announcements from the floor? Okay. All right. How about if anybody would like to share briefly how Spirit has touched your life this week? And I will start. Spirit has touched me through my friends, especially Bobby and Baja this week, for guiding me into what I was talking about today, and lots of other things, helping each other. We have been helping each other a lot lately, and I really feel that that is Spirit in my life, you guys. So I just wanted to mention that. So who else has a story about how Spirit has touched your life? Go ahead, Bobby. Oh,
Yep,
sorry,
same
Bobby.
right back at you.
Oh, okay, right back at you. Okay. Thank you, Bobby. Barbara, go ahead.
Oh, excuse me. I have a car that has had problems on and off with air conditioning, and they fixed it last year and it was working at the beginning and then it started to go down. So finally I took it in again, and I really didn't want to spend any more money on it. And the connection, it's long and involved, but the point was there was something that wasn't working. They got a new one, they put it in, and I'm thinking, oh God, this is going to be at least $100. And in the end, they were using the warranty for it because it had been less than a year since they bought the first one. And all the time that it took them to do all this messing around, they just gifted me, because I walked out of there not paying a thing. So I was very, very, very grateful, as you might imagine. And the air conditioner still works.
Yay.
So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Anybody else? Oh, yes, Carol, go ahead.
I was thankful for Spirit this weekend. My mother, who's 85, wanted to go to a birthday party for her friend in Toledo, who's also 85. And after working all week, I was tired and I really didn't want to do the drive. So it happened that I had some trouble. I was having car trouble, so I had to rent a car. And I had an issue come up renting the car, so I had to bring my daughter into the picture, Aiden's mom. But it happened that she was off this weekend too. So I think it was Dad and my spirit said, okay, well, let's keep nudging her and maybe she'll drive and go. And they did. So she wound up driving the whole way there and back, which I was so happy because I didn't feel good Saturday. And my mom enjoyed herself, so it was good.
Awesome. Thank you. Yep. Spirit's been busy. Definitely busy. So thank you all for sharing. I'm going to stop the recording now to preserve the sacredness of those serving and receiving from Spirit. For those of you watching the video, thank you for your support. And remember that you are always connected to the divine and all of creation. And I need to find where it is. So there it is.